Hello everyone and welcome to an Outlast Trials dive into the lore of Mother Gooseberry, one of two of the starting prime assets that the player may face in their therapy trials. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions on the subject, and of course, if I miss anything, feel free to comment down below, but without any further delays, let's talk about what we know of Mother Gooseberry. Before the events of the Outlast Trials, Mother Gooseberry, or her actual name, Phyllis Futterman, was the daughter of a dentist, Dr. A. Futterman. She was born and raised in Philadelphia and without a mother, as she was not around, possibly due to separation, or from what we will soon find out of the father, perhaps something a bit darker. The comic opens to a report from Clyde Perry within Philadelphia to Bradley Avellanos of the Señala facility in December 13th of 1956, stating that he has secured an interview with Phyllis Futterman at Holmesburg Prison. We, the reader, aren't made aware of why she's in this facility, but that'll soon be uncovered. It continues to read that the subject is nearly unrecognizable compared to her archived photos and mugshots. Phyllis Futterman, along with the majority of the inmates, have been subject to dermatological experiments under the supervision of a Dr. Klingman, testing products for a redacted company. Futterman's been exposed to carbonic acid, dioxin, and grafts of infected corpse flesh. Other inmates have reportedly gotten worse treatment, which feels unimaginable. Delving into the reasons to the use of these chemicals, we'll start with the carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is best known for its role in carbonated beverages to create the fizz and is generally safe, though can still damage one's teeth as it can erode tooth enamel, making them more susceptible to decay and sensitivity, but can generally be mitigated with the use of water and general cleaning. Other uses of this are through medications such as antacids and topical treatments, or even to induce vomiting in case of drug overdose. Dioxin is primarily formed as an unintended byproduct during industrial processes involving chlorine, such as incineration, chemical manufacturing, paper and pulp bleaching, and natural combustions like forest fires, volcanic eruptions, or even burning wood or coal. With most of the research focusing on dermatological being that of the skin, hair, and nails, we can most likely deduce that it is due to a topical treatment. Other information that we have to deduce this is that Dr. Klingman is a real-life figure who is known for conducting experiments on prisoners at Holmesburg Prison. Stemming from early testings of treatments for ringworm, his work there started with an effort to control athlete's foot at the invitation of prison officials. He found the environment fraught with possibilities and undertook dozens of experiments there for pharmaceutical companies and government agencies. Between 1951 and 1974, Klingman exposed approximately 75 prisoners at Holmesburg to high doses of dioxin, the contaminant responsible for Agent Orange's toxicity to humans, and exposed them to pathogens causing infections including herpes, staphylococcus, and athlete's foot, thus causing Phyllis's injuries. Moving on in the comic, Clyde Perry sees what has now become of Phyllis and states that her physical health remains remarkable, even if she looks like yesterday's guacamole, spending approximately 20 minutes interviewing her with a brief background précis on her. Here we find out that Phyllis worked as her father's assistant from a young age, using her puppets to distract young patients during drilling or surgery, and her hobbies included taxidermy and musical theater, something we see all too well within the trials themselves. With the Futterman's rising popularity, it led to a local broadcast TV program, the Mother Gooseberry Hour, on air as of 1951. Presumably at around 1955, Dr. Futterman dies and the tone of the Mother Gooseberry Hour shifts. The adolescent audience is conditioned through classical application of abuse, praise, and narcotics. Classical conditioning being a learning process that occurs when two stimuli are repeatedly paired. A response which is at first elicited by the second stimulus, but eventually is elicited by the first stimulus alone, such as Pavlov's dog experiment, an experiment where a bell is rang every time food is given, and eventually the bell can be rung to condition the effects of hunger. Soon after this shift, the police raid the TV studio on charges of kidnapping and racketeering, and as such, Phyllis retreats to the puppetry tunnels beneath the set, and uses a drill to kill 2 police and injure 5 before being apprehended. The horrors down there that they see, they relate to the H.H. Holmes murder house. This interview leads Clyde Perry to believe that Phyllis Futterman is lucid and highly charismatic, much like our other prime assets. Charisma being a reoccurring theme that I wish to make into its own video, so be on the lookout for that if you want to know more. Aside from her charisma though, he also discovers she has two personalities on display. One being herself in a way. Phyllis Futterman, though a much younger version of herself, it's her Mother Gooseberry persona, a childlike Phyllis approximately 14 years old, and the other being her deceased father, Dr. A. Futterman, which is now her duck-shaped puppet, that at the time she fashioned him from scavenging cafeteria and workhouse scraps, thus showing remarkable mechanical aptitude. Here is where we learn what her father most likely treated her as behind closed doors. The personality of Dr. Futterman is abusive and bigoted, though funny according to Clyde, stating that he likes him. It stands to believe that behind closed doors he verbally abused her. We find no actual evidence for if she was physically abused, but this eventually causes her to regress to a childlike state we see now. The fact that Dr. Futterman is funny to most people, and is most likely to show how he got away with his abuse for so long, possibly making his abuse seem like a joke to Phyllis, or how he's a nice man to everyone else, but just not to Phyllis. Both personalities, no matter what though, include lapses of what Clyde Perry describes as a lizard-brained murderous rage monster, most likely due to the fact that she has dissociative identity disorder, or DID. Sometimes rage of this caliber can be caused due to the trauma and the difficulty to regulate emotion, though this is never actually confirmed in the game if she has DID. It's a pretty common theory. Overall though, Clyde Perry sees that the Mother Gooseberry personality shows remarkable charisma, as despite her ragged appearance, she appears to have had relations with at least 2 guards, and many of her fellow prisoners and staff have fallen under her sway. The interview ends with Phyllis expressing interest in self-improvement and scientific advancement, perhaps a show of her charisma to Clyde to get him to trust her, almost luring him into a false sense of safety that she wants to get better, and states she'd like a change of scenery. Clyde Perry is thus highly recommending her for trials in Project Lathe. That about sums up most of the thoughts and details of Mother Gooseberry, a woman who was being mentally broken by her father, and once his care for her was gone, she couldn't find her own self-worth and started breaking down. It's quite clear why Mother Gooseberry would be considered the mother of our prime assets, as it's in her name, but also she is shown to be caring and loving towards the children. Sadly, much like her father, her version of love is nothing but abuse. We still have one more prime asset to discuss, along with other subjects in the Outlast Trials. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts and theories for Mother Gooseberry, as I'd love to hear them. Let me know if I missed any details, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Some videos being Let's Plays, some being these lore and theory videos that will be posted at least once a week, though I am aiming for 2 a week if my schedule permits. We'll be covering other games as well, so keep an eye out. Hopefully I see you all in the next video. See you then.